Hello, sir.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's going well. Yeah. This week has blown by super fast.
Oh,
How
yeah?
about your experience? Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's blown by, but you're sort of in a different phase of life than we are right now.
Yep. Coming off the high of a launch with lots of aggressive goals set for myself for the week, and smacked right into reality on those a little bit. I can get
Ooh,
into that.
I see. What happened there? You have the beauty of like a small code base, which I
Yes.
remember and envy.
Yes. Yes.
But I'm curious, what do you feel like is slowing you down, or what's it been like?
Well, so I don't even feel like it's necessarily that I've been slowed down. So coming out of last week, said I want by the end of this week to be using it myself. And if I'm booking any meetings with people, I want to share my own Mighty Cow link. I probably should have wrapped my arms around the scope of that a little bit better before putting a stake in the ground on that. Because it just things started kind of adding up on that. I realized I wanted at least kind of a bare minimum ability to cancel a scheduled event. I didn't want it to just be it's booked and now if you need to change it, we have to email. I want there to be some of that workflow built in. And also trying to find, this is always the tricky part, is trying to find the line of how MVP to make this thing. When I put it out initially, that's kind of a question swirling on my head. It's I know they say you should be embarrassed by the first version you put out, but how embarrassed and in what ways? Because if this thing looks too half-assed or incomplete or something, then I feel like that could be enough for people to be nah, I'm not going to pay attention to this thing for a while. So,
I guess if it's just you using it, it's one thing. But if you want to get some alpha users in there, they have to send it to people that matter to them.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So there's probably a different quality bar there.
Right. Obviously, it'll be a big milestone when I'm able to use it myself. And I just know that once I'm doing that, then it's there's even less reasons technically for me not to let other people start using. I'm gonna fill the poll even harder to hey, I see your link. I want one of those too. And I want to be able to deliver on that pretty quickly and not do the old, it's coming soon for just a really long time,
Totally. That's the worst.
And also I have been relishing this week I'm still in this phase because I literally don't have a production database locked down at this moment. so I'm doing something that you can only do when you're in early stages of a product, pre-production release with one person working on it. And that's I will just happily reset my database frequently. And instead of letting migrations pile up where I'm constantly adding and mutating things in this ever long progression of database migrations, I can just take a step back, nuke a table, completely rework it, rename stuff if it doesn't make sense anymore. And when the clay is still wet, that's a very nice, productive place to be. And I'm already picturing once I ship this thing officially, then you're just doing, you're doing construction on a highway that already has cars on it. So it becomes that much more cumbersome.
Competing pulls there.
Yeah.
So what's blocking you from using it with other people so far?
So the kind of the basic cancellation flow was the big piece that I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you should ship it anyway.
Ship it anyway. Yeah.
Cancellation coming soon. It's.
Yeah, and the other piece I think is that I'm going to ship without is the ability for someone to overlay their calendar, which it's going to be a really important part of the flow, but that will require Google approval. And that was my second item this week, was to initiate that process, which, hasn't happened yet, but there's still hours today left on Friday, because that involves, I'm requesting access to, I think they call them restricted scopes, not the highest level of restriction, the Gmail and Google Drive stuff, but calendar is in this kind of second tier. And you have to submit a video, demo walking through how exactly the user initiates it through your product and how you're using it. And you upload it to YouTube and then you submit that with your application. So there's there's a whole thing to it that I just got to do. But before that, there's basically impossible to get. There's a way to let in a limited number of people granting OAuth access, but it's red flags everywhere. Danger, danger. Are you sure you want to do this? So it's not even really a great limited beta way to do it, you kind of need the full approval. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
it sounds like the Google thing is worth like getting submitted ASAP, right? Because you have no idea how long that'll take.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm at their mercy on that.
Okay. The cancellation thing is like, to me, seems like a nice to have. Like I schedule a fair amount of meetings with people, and most of the time they don't get canceled.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes they'll cancel, but like they just say like, how about we do this time instead, and we just move it. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's now Friday, so probably won't be like like I'll give myself today and then maybe a little time on the weekend or something to just tie that up, since I've already basically almost done with the cancellation flow, so I might as well just tie that up, and then hopefully next week can check off the dog food milestone.
Nice.
Yeah,
sounds great. Yeah, I want to just keep making you move faster than you're comfortable with, I guess. I feel like you need friends that push you a little harder than you're like, push you in the areas that make you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty self-motivated. I like to think, that like I put a lot of pressure on myself for sure. Like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good this morning, but yesterday was just super tough because I set these aggressive goals. I was like, I have to initiate the process, have to dog food. And I also I had an item on that of like, I want to do something to keep the list warm this week. Because I mean, it just so commonly happens that you gather these email addresses and then you just let them sit dormant for too long. So at least think through like, what's my kind of update cadence going to be with this list, and try to stick to something. And I don't know. Yeah. It's like kind of in the slog of like trying to bring this, dog fooding milestone to completion the best that I can, and like having to still design some intricate UI pieces, like really pay attention to the craftsmanship of it, but then also trying to move at like lightning speed, and what can I cut out of the scope, and so like feeling the tension of that. And it became just super frustrating when I realized like I'm probably not going to reach these goals. So I don't know. It's like I'm kind of torn between like I want to set good stretch goals every week, but I also don't want to hit this like pit of despair every time if I realize that like, oh, it's actually not going to be feasible. I need to program that into my goal setting like mindset, I guess, to allow myself to change course, I guess, if need be, without feeling too bad about it.
Totally. That is a challenge. That's tricky. Like I said, set ambitious goals are good, but missing them feels pretty bad. But maybe that's a good motivation to cut scope. But then blah, there's a lot of competing things pulling in different directions here, I think. And you're like soloing it, right? So it's like, think about marketing and product and dev. It's a lot going on there.
No, and especially like with the launch, just a lot of like excitement, it spurred a lot of inspiration in my own head. So like there's all kinds of things I want to be working on simultaneously. Like I have ideas about like I want to kind of talk more about this concept of how I'm going to solve the power dynamic issues with sharing a booking link. And it's like I'm picturing in my head some visuals I can use to accompany that and really drive the point home on how I'm thinking about doing this differently. And I'm picturing like this nice marketing page around this concept coming together. But then I'm like, well, that's going to take, a day and a half to build that. And I don't have that time right now. So yeah, the more excited I get about like different things I can be pushing forward, the more the lack of parallelism really kind of smacks me in the face. And I'm like, well, I can only focus on one thing at a time. Totally.
Although for what it's worth, we have more parallelism now than we ever have. And I still just am like, there's so many things. How do we order them and like get the right things done? And then even if we're working on 3 things at once, it's still like, wow, but there's like 20 really good things that we want to do. I hear this from people that have companies of all sizes. And like I heard, I think it was John Collison on an interview. Like, there's just so much more we want to do. We feel like we're just getting started. And it's like he feels like Stripe is just getting started.
It's like you've got 1,000 developers, and all developers,
and Stripe ships like crazy. Like they're very productive at shipping things quickly. And so it's like, wow. I just think there's no end to this probably.
No, it's good analogies. Like I recently got a new bike so I could go faster, a road bike. But when you upgrade your bike, the biking doesn't get easier. You just move faster. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, yeah. Good luck dealing with the turmoil.
Thanks. Yeah.
Let me know if I can help.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Just feeling
it's
crazy.
self-inflicted a little bit. It's like this is the way I've chosen to build this company, and I'm chosen to be solo for now. And so I just also keep that in mind that like there are benefits to be yielded from building the company the way I want to do it, even though there's these trade-offs too that like I just have to accept the trade-offs and keep reminding myself that these are not failings. This is just the way that I've chosen to structure things right now, and just keep playing the mental game.
Yeah, that's the game for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about remote work.
Yeah.
We recently got an office and we moved into it on Monday, and it's pretty unfurnished still. It's like just like we have like desks and computers in it, but it's basically empty. We sort of had this conversation about, okay, well, there's some concerns with the office. Maybe actually there's a couple of traits of it that are not ideal for us. And it kind of kicked off this larger like, well, should we have an office?
Okay.
And I'm in the like, I definitely want a place to go. I definitely want I'm pro office, but it kind of kicked off this like whole, okay, it turns out that we're basically on the path for building a remote first kind of company. We found Mikey and he's in Paris and he's awesome. And it would have been a huge loss to not be able to hire him because he's remote. Working with you a handful of hours a week is a huge win for us. And it would be a big loss for us to not be able to do that. If you want to set the bar really high and hire world-class people, well, you have to look at the world. This is not my ideal, like, because I'm very FaceTime-y, extroverty, in person kind of. That's where I get my most energy from. But at the same time, I want to build a really great company and like a really great product. And so it's like, okay, I think I kind of have to accept that this is the way you get the best people. I think a thing that kind of helps me deal with that is like, okay, well, if we can work in person, if I can work in person with Spencer and Joel, at least most of the time, then it's like, okay, so we have we're sort of remote and distributed, but I have people around me, and I can have those conversations and such. We just kind of had this like philosophical question where it's like, we're building, a bunch of our people are remote. It's likely that a good number of them the future hires will be remote. We make a tool for remote people, for people when they're working remotely. Maybe not, maybe they're in the same office, but probably mostly they're remote. Are we not like dog fooding enough? Is there a dog food concern? And then also, is there a like inevitable power imbalance communication challenge with the founders being together, but everybody else not being?
I mean, it's probably ideal if you're going to be hybrid, in person and remote. Like a kind of nice dividing line is like, well, the founders are all in the same city. They go into an office together, but the rest of the team is distributed. Like that's kind of nice. If it has to be that way, that's kind of a nice delineation, as opposed to like half the engineering team is also, well, I guess they're on the engineering team, but they're also founders. Like it's kind of it's a little bit different than just being an ordinary engineer on the engineering team. So like, I don't know, that feels like a decent way. If there's going to be some people in an office together, only like it being the founders feels okay, but also, yeah, it's like, that's one of the trickiest parts, is figuring out how to give everyone the same fair experience, and like benefit from all the knowledge sharing that they're missing out on, from
Totally.
in-person interactions.
Right. It requires discipline from us, right? We can't just like have a conversation and then forget that we decided on something and then not write it up somewhere, not communicate it with the right people. There's like just no like sort of information dispersal via osmosis. And that, I think, breaks down anyway when you hit a certain size, right? Like seems like around 10 to 12 people, you sort of need to have these more explicit communication chains and strategies. Otherwise, like even if you're all in the same place, you're going to start missing stuff.
Yes. This is definitely like I experienced that totally at Drip. Like when we got to the point, especially pre-acquisition, everything was easy. We sat in the same room together. We went to lunch together.
Okay. Everyone was in person.
Well, actually, not everybody. By the end, we had a few people who were remote, and so we were already started to struggle with it a little bit, but we were still really small, and most conversations happened in general in Slack, and like it was just like still manageable enough where like pretty much everybody could be in the loop on most communications. And we did end up using a lot of, well, at the time we were using Slack, and we ended up using a lot of Slack, even to ping each other, even if we happened to be in the same office at the same time. We would sometimes just post stuff there for paper trail and to make sure everyone was in the loop. But post acquisition, I mean, it just became a whole different set of problems because now we had kind of multiple sub teams of engineers and realized how much information was siloed in the minds of kind of the people who were kind of primarily in charge of this area. And then pair programming became one of the big strategies for getting knowledge shared around. I mean, partly it was to get people, for the other benefits of pairing, like writing high quality code together, but also like, no, we're going to pair so that I can make sure you're learning about this area of the code base that maybe you haven't touched before. And so that became like that was one of the main reasons for kind of building it into our process, was just to make sure that stuff was not getting siloed.
Interesting. Yeah. So it kind of, to me, this is almost like it almost makes me feel a little bit better, which is like, we're going to have to solve these communication problems anyway, most likely, assuming we keep growing, which it seems like will happen. The whole, like, we can just all be in a room and talk about stuff doesn't work for that long anyway. We didn't invent a new problem, really. We have to deal with a certain problem earlier than we would otherwise, but that's fine. That's we get some very strong benefits because of it, which is the access to people that are remote. It's interesting dealing with these challenges. Like, so Spencer he prefers to be remote. He likes his home setup. He likes working from, like, his family has a place in Maine. He likes working from there. He's like, I don't need an office. He's like, if I see you guys, occasionally, it's great. Let's hang out. Let's work out, whatever. Whereas I'm like, just for me, like, even just having like Joel 12 feet away from me or someone I'm working with also working just puts me in the right mindset. And like talking to somebody over lunch and, going for a walk and getting coffee, like that stuff like really keeps me like happy and energized. So like we're kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's just challenging, like having humans with different needs and desires, and like how do we come up with a thing that works for all of us so we're all equally happy / unhappy.
Right. Yeah. You've now had a healthy dose of fully remote for a while via pandemic, right? And this is something I remember we've talked about this since the inception of Tuple. Like you wanted to be in the same city as your co-founders. You wanted to be able to have FaceTime. And that was one of the important things for you in like figuring out how to structure, your company. Like you have choice about this, and this was a deliberate choice. So like you said, I mean, what's really good for you may not be really good for the rest of the team. So it's figuring out the balance of that. It sounds to me like it's still worth having an office, even if not all of you are in there all the time, but so that, you can kind of get that nice balance.
Yeah, after a pretty lengthy discussion, that's kind of where we ended up. Is like we should have a place that we can go to that's not our houses, that we can go and work from and meet up in. But maybe we're not there all the time. It's not like we're every day we're there all day. And actually, we already kind of do that. Like even when we were working from Joel's, like every time I record this podcast, I record it from my house and then I go in. And sometimes I'll have a couple calls around it, and so I'll say, okay, I have 3 calls on today. I'll be in at like noon or 1 or something. And so we're already kind of doing that, and I think that's just where we're going to end up. It's like Spencer pairs with Mikey a lot right now, who's in Paris, so they start their day earlier, or Spencer does. So it's like he's pairing from 7 to whatever, and then when he's done with that, he comes over and we hang out and have lunch, or eventually someday go to the climbing gym.
Yep.
And that works for me. Like I don't need the full everyone's together sitting in the same room all the time. If I get like kind of a dose of people at some point during the day, I'm usually pretty good.
Yeah. I still really loved that the 3 days in the office, 2 days remote, or flip flopped, 2 days in the office, 3 days remote. That felt like a really healthy balance that we had for a while at Drip.
So you did three in, 2 off usually? Was that
was the typical kind of cadence we got into. Yeah.
And would you and Rob like sync your days, or was it just like independent?
I think we got to the point where I believe we were trying to overlap. We were making the goal of overlapping at least 2 days with everybody. So like, I was trying to make sure I was aligning my days with the engineers because we were working most closely together. And then me and Rob, we would try to be in like at least overlapping 2 days. I think that's kind of where we landed. Like we all tried to do one day where we were all in. So I think we kind of landed on like Fridays. Everyone's in Friday and we would go to lunch together. And
interesting. The whole team would be in on Friday.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So sync up one day, and then the others were kind of like, oh yeah, whatever works well for your schedule, and yeah.
Sounds pretty sensible. Yeah, I like the idea of kind of hybrid approaches in life a lot of the time. Like the extremes are usually not optimal, and if you can move the dial a little bit to somewhere more towards the middle, it's often
Yep.
the right balance.
Yep. One or two people on our team actually came in every day. Like they just were like, "Yep, I don't work well from home, so I just want to come in," and that was totally fine. So
Nice. Yeah, I think having that flexibility so that people can do their own thing is good. We had another topic that sort of came up was like, well, if I prefer working in person more, maybe the people that I hire and work with most closely are like we try to find people in Boston, like maybe sales/marketing or product management or something like that we try to optimize for locality if possible. So we'll see. Maybe that might be a reasonable approach, but it has that same sort of thing where it's like maybe there's this imbalance where it's like this team is communicating in person mostly locally, and then the rest of the company doesn't have a record of it. And but I think a pretty good answer to that is eventually there's always a communication problem, and so we're going to have to solve it regardless. And so maybe we quote unquote cheat for a little bit with in-person stuff, but over the long term, we're going to have written records of decisions basically, or some sort of structure, some sort of plan by which information is distributed to the company.
Yep. And like, the fact that you already have now fully remote team members will be a good forcing function, hopefully, to like force you to set up those kind of systems earlier on instead of like getting too comfortable. 3 years in, we're not set up at all for like keeping remote people in the loop, and now, having to figure that out later.
Totally. Exactly. So. And I think there's something to be gained from like the rigor that is required to like write a thing up and have a record of it and to get your thoughts together. Because when it was even just the three of us, we would sometimes have these long discussions and like wouldn't always come up with the conclusion, or we would come up with a conclusion, but then like just sort of forget about it or like not documented it, or we would have miscommunicated and not realized it. And so like, it's not even like it's not even like a panacea to like be able to talk in person and like hash stuff out, because sometimes it's just like I would sometimes just literally forget. They'd be like, "Didn't we agree that we were going to do X?" And I go, "Did we agree that?" And it's just like, yeah,
some kind of habit of like because for me, I had a ton of value from being in person with another engineer solving a hard problem on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. I mean, some people really kind of are dismissive of that, but like I think whiteboard time is really hard to replicate any other way. And like when I would go back to California after post acquisition, I would go back to California and usually go into the office at least one day, and I would like try to pick some really meaty problem that I knew was coming up in the pipeline and go stand in front of a whiteboard. Like that was my primary task of the day, was just go do whiteboard time with Ian, because but then I think, so that's where you can get really deep into something, you can hash it out. And that's probably the kind of thing where maybe virtually the virtual equivalent would just be like, you're just chatting or something in a chat feed. And it's not this formal thing where it's slower and more thought out. It's like the quick back and forth, hashing stuff out, figuring it out. But then I think it's important once that's done to like step back and kind of document, summarize, and make sure that it's like, all right, what's the deliverable from this session we just had? And, how can we make sure we don't forget the most important parts of it and make sure other people can have a window into it. But that's also, regardless of whether you're remote or in person, you can't have the whole company in front of the whiteboard at the same time generally. So it's like usually there's insights that you have to extract out of that and summarize anyways. So getting in the habit of like writing that up and putting it in the right places.
Yeah. My hope is that travel becomes easier in the future.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking, like doing retreats together as all company and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's quarterly, like 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, but like getting that time together to like just work on that sort of non-work bonding kind of thing, like get to know each other as people and feel connected, but then maybe also get in those long whiteboard sessions that are harder to do remotely. I think we could probably find a cadence where we are attacking the meaty problems when in person fast enough. We're spending enough time together that we feel bonded as humans. I think there's probably a way to do this.
Yep. Takes a lot of work and it's deliberate action, but that's everything, right? So
yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is the work, I think.
Yeah. Company building.
This is a thing we're solving. I think that the benefits are substantial. Like if we didn't do remote stuff, Art of Product would not exist.
Right.
So there's just a lot of things in my life, like people I want to work with that I think are great, like you. That it's like, well, this is just one of the constraints, and so I wish I could make everyone move to like my apartment complex and we lived like dorms in college, but it's not really an option.
Yep.
That was my ideal social situation. It's like we all literally lived on the same floor. We had our own rooms, but like everyone is on the same floor.
Yeah.
Someday, I'm gonna make the tuple dorm.
The tuple compound.
If you want, yeah, we talked about that actually. Like we need a compound. We'll all build our own houses. We'll have a common work area. That'd be my ideal.
That'd be pretty sweet,
so
actually.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll have like subsidized housing. It's like, all right, if you want to move to the compound, you can just live here for free. Pretty good perk.
It's like a healthier version of what Google's trying to do, right? Where they just try to convince everyone to come to the Google compound and never leave.
Yeah, right. It's sounding a little culty, but whatever. The irony of bringing everyone together to work on an app that lets you work remotely.
Yeah. I always found it ironic too that like Slack was like not a remote company at all.
I know.
Until it's like having to learn how to do this. And it's like, you guys are building the tooling that most remote companies are using. How are you? They must have a massive blind spot. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess really good product management can make up for that. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's true. But I think I found a coach I like, by the way.
Oh, yeah. An executive coach.
An executive coach. We're not officially just like started working together yet, but I've had a number of calls with coaches, none of whom were like an obvious yes to me. And then I got a recommendation from one of our advisors, a very glowing recommendation, and I scheduled a call with this person, and she was awesome. I just felt like very different breath of fresh air, just like the right kind of vibe. As everything just like kind of pointed to yes in my mind. So we're figuring out what the exact like schedule and engagement is going to look like, but I think I found the one.
Awesome. That's good. Can you give like rough numbers at least on what it's going to cost you? Do you have an idea of that, or is that still?
I don't know if I should publish that. Like I don't like. I should maybe. I don't know if I should keep her anonymous or keep her rate. Like
yeah.
It's kind of. I don't know. I'm gonna ask her if I can mention her by name, but I probably won't talk about cost just yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Or maybe ever. But it seems. And I also
reasonable.
Don't even know.
No.
I heard what my friend is paying, but I don't know what her current rates are. Maybe he's grandfathered or something. So TBD.
All right.
Not cheap like most of these.
Yeah.
But I honestly think the right person is, you can justify a pretty hefty fee. So that's exciting. Yeah, it'd be good to have somebody in my corner. It's almost like, who do I report to kind of thing. Matt Machari, the great CEO within Author, says like when he trains CEOs, he says, during this engagement, you report to me. Like I will run our one-on-ones and I will manage you like a direct report. It's like, that seems good.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, it's like in the best masterminds I've been a part of, there's always someone who's like beyond my skills. And then ideally someone who has, is a little bit earlier on. So you can like both help provide wisdom to someone who's earlier than you, and then also like get pulled up by someone who has more experience. So I think it's important to have that kind of thing in your life for sure.
Totally. And also just someone, I told her like one of my goals is just like to have someone who will like, kick my ass on things.
Yeah.
Like I want an accountability partner that I'm paying to make sure it actually happens. It's like, Ben, you said that you were going to meditate 3 times this week, and you promised to email me when you did. And where are these emails? What's going on? How do we get you back on track? Like just somebody that's going to do that kind of thing. And I was like, are you down for that kind of stuff? She's like, oh yeah, I don't mind beating you up from time to time.
Nice.
Like, great. I want that. You need kind of a tough. I need a little bit of a tough person.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. I'm curious to hear how this unfolds as you start it.
Yeah, me too. We had a funny moment the other day, and I tweeted about this where like Joel sent me an invitation for the Q3 budget meeting.
Bring your TPS reports and
yeah, it was just so funny to me. I was like, wow, like I actually am excited about this meeting. Like I think like it's going to be cool to like say, okay, there's this much money. Where do we want to invest it? I think that would be like very energizing, actually. And I'm glad we're being intentional about it. But also, it's just funny. It just feels like, wow, like we were in your bedroom, like just a few months ago, even like just the three of us just hacking away on this little app we made, and now it's feeling more and more like, you know, a company is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Q3 like it used to just be the product. It was like, what is Tuple? Well, it's these two repositories that we were working on, and like just we spend all our time there, and all we're trying to do is, you know, make those bits of code better.
Yep.
And now it's like, well, I met with the accountant and he recommends we allocate the budget this way, so let's get together and agree on our strategic investments for Q3. Like, oh my God. Wow.
Does everyone on the team kind of enjoy those aspects evenly, or is any of you like, oh, I can't stand any of this business part of it, leave me out of it?
Well, I think Joel has the most appetite for it, or maybe just like the most interest in making sure we're not being stupid about things. He's got like maybe the highest concern level around that. I am very fast and loose with this kind of thing. My nature would be to be that way. It's kind of like, well, like, you know, we got to make the business work. We got to make the product great, and like having the right terms and conditions, whatever. Like, no one's going to sue us. Having the right employment agreements, whatever. No one's going to sue it. But like, you know, that's not really true. I'm not saying that my approach is the correct one. I think Spencer and I are kind of like not particularly interested in that sort of thing, but Joel rightfully cares about protecting the downside and such.
Yep. That's good.
Yeah. So I think that's it for me.
Cool. Good updates.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Excited to see when dog food time happens.
Yes.
That'll be good. Good first milestone.
I will feel very relieved when I get to that milestone. All this kind of, and that's where it's this week has just felt like it's gone by super fast. I mean, one way to ensure it feels like it goes by fast is set aggressive goals, and
yep. Well, if you're just chunking stuff out and like getting it done, then I mean, I think you'll be there.
Yep.
Cool. All right, wrap it.
Let's wrap it.
Notes of the show.
Notes of the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See you.